So, welcome to the masterclass about learner types. I'm Michael, if you haven't met me yet, at least live, and I'm happy to run you through a little bit of my expertise today. It shouldn't take too long. I actually wanted to have this as a discussion, and maybe I can send you a Zoom link later on and we can meet there after the main presentation. And I will start in a minute. Let me send myself a link so I can see your chat. I will leave this platform soon for the reason that it sucks. So give me a second. Almost there. Yeah. And you can introduce yourself, where you're from, what level you are. If you have any questions, please write them somewhere else. Do not write them in the chat, because I will not see the chat during the presentation, and afterwards, it might get lost on the way if there's any technical issue. If you cannot hear me, for example, at one point, or video seems stuck, let me know in the chat, and if there's more than one person, I will click the panic button and we are back in 20 seconds. Yeah, just stay where you are. Don't worry about it. And you can also always start to reset your session. Let me know. Good. I have a little poll for you as you are here and you don't get bored. So I want to know who actually is familiar with what I do or has heard of Smarter German. Yeah. I want to send something to myself. Here. Perfect. Good. I share my screen with you, and here we go. Yeah, if there's anything, maybe some trouble, I can maybe see it in time on the mobile. Bear with me. But here we go. Entire screen. Let's take that one. Window does the job actually. Share. Okay. Nice. Okay, here's the presentation. Here we go. So learner types. Interesting for me would be to know whether you have an idea what that is. Maybe you can share with me before or while I introduce myself what learner types are or what learner type you are. Yeah, and would be very interesting. By the way, is the audio of good quality? Can you hear me? Yeah. So let me introduce myself and what we do today. The presentation will not be 40 minutes unless I really get lost in the rabbit hole of this topic. Should be 20 minutes, 30 minutes at best, and then we have time for questions. We don't need a full hour, but you're welcome to stay or leave at any time. There will be a replay of this on YouTube on Monday for reasons that you will see later. Yeah. A few words on my personality. I love to hack languages, at least I used to. Right now I'm only hacking German and whatever comes my way. But that is something that doesn't really leave you. I enjoy looking at words of whatever language comes my way and look how they relate to each other, what's their origin, and sometimes how I can make them more interesting for them. I used to be a German tutor for 20 years. After 13 years of working in the language school, very classical job, I decided to do my own thing and was teaching a lot one-on-one and had some really, really nice encounters there, and also very lovely successes, but also failures. And at one point, I had the idea to create an online course, which is what you can see on my homepage right now, which made me redundant and also makes other German tutors redundant. Therefore, I'm that somehow in my heart, but I actually am more of a kind of facilitator than I ever was a German tutor. My son speaks 3 languages, 2 natively, and the third one he picked up from his environment because we hang out a lot with English-speaking people. Not that it necessarily made his life easier. Yeah, he's 19 years old trying to find his way, but was interesting to see him grow up and handle languages and the struggles with it. Yeah, I noticed the struggling. So it doesn't really mean if you have a German tutor as a father that your German writing is any good. Yeah, I love psychology, and psychology is very often in the way of success, or at least luck and happiness, and that's why I'm very interested in it. Learning German is heavily influenced by your psychology, and therefore it matters that the course you do is based on proper psychology, not on fancy sales psychology, or I show you pictures and you learn faster psychology. That is actually kindergarten psychology. Yeah, and whatever you want me to be, I'm happy to be that in your mind. But other than that, that's a rough overview. Sorry, I did this just short term, just a few minutes before, because I thought it's better to do it here than to show you a web page. So I took these next 4 questions from a web page that actually claims to test your learner type. So let me go through this. You write the answer in the chat, please. Yeah, or on a piece of paper. You can also take 1 to 3 or ABC. We know what it is, and then we talk about it. Let me read this to the people. So what kind of book would you like to read for fun? One with pictures, a book with lots of words, a book with crossword puzzles. And you might hear in my voice that there's a little, undertone in there, because it's quite a funny thing. Are you not seeing something on the screen, Dina? Oh, it's not showing. Oh, that's interesting. My apologies. Thank you for letting me know. It should actually share screen. Okay, I understand. Give me a second. See, this is the reason why I don't like this platform. Maybe you see something now. Give me a second. I can only see it in a minute later. Well, it's okay that you look at me, right? But it's not the idea of this. If this doesn't work, then I have to restart the meeting. Oh, come on. It's really sad. Really sad. Now it works? Really? Because I don't see it here on my... Oh, thank you. Thank God. So here's the test again. Enjoy. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah. Next time I will have Zoom here and I can see you and I can see everything. This platform is a disaster. So next question. When you're not sure to spell how to spell a word, what will you do most likely? Write it down, spell it out loud, or trace the letters in the air? Just give you 10 seconds to answer this. Is anyone tracing letters in the air if you don't know how to spell a word? Next question. You're waiting in line while shopping for clothes. What will you do most likely? Look at the other clothes on the racks. Talk to the person next to you in line. Fidget or move back and forth. And last question. When you see the word cat, what do you do first? Picture a cat in my mind, say word cat to myself, or think about being with a cat. Okay, so these were 4 out of 20 questions, which I didn't go through any further. And I will tell you later what I think about this. I just really wanted to engage you a little bit. And I promise you, you will be severely disappointed today. So I did some research. I did the research already 20 years ago when I was studying German as a foreign language at university. I didn't keep my notes, unfortunately, but I just did a quick review of what was there because I remembered the gist of this whole topic. Now, we also just need common sense to go to the grounds of this. And let me show you a couple of learner types. You try to imagine what that actually means. Maybe you can type it, you just think with me, that's also fine. So a visual learner type. What does a visual learner type do? Just think it, you don't have to type it, but if you're a fast typer, go for it. Share with the others. Yeah. There's a couple of those, so I go through this pretty quickly. Just follow along. Auditory learner types, yeah, from audio. Physical learner types, that's an interesting one. What does it mean to be a physical learner type? And keep in mind that we want to look at this from an angle of the angle of a German learner, yeah, because that's what we're here for. A logical learner type. Social learner type. A solitary learner type. I go a bit faster, yeah, so don't worry about typing, just think aloud, think along. A verbal learner type. And may I ask you, what's the difference between a verbal and an auditory and a physical learner type? A natural learner type. Someone who learns via reading and writing. And what's the difference between verbal, physical, and logical, and maybe visual in reading and writing? An active learner type. Is there anything like a passive learner type? A reflective one. These are all officially learner types people spread in the internet, and most of them, if not all, refer to scientific research without mentioning it closer. Yeah, I will not do the same, but you can easily find those sources. I'll show you where in a minute. But it's not necessary. As you can see already, this goes into a direction that is clearly impossible to consider. Yeah, I'm not throwing these names, Mikael. These are simply things that you find when you look for learner types. Pragmatic, avoidant, participative, competitive, collaborative, independent. And my favorite, stay with me, olfactory. Anybody knows what that is? Someone had some possibly Latin, olfactoric. In German, that's not a word that really exists, olfactorisch. You must possibly have a medical education for that, or Latin. So, as I said before, all these, how on earth would you even begin to differentiate between almost any of these? If you only have visual and auditory, so be it. But what is physical? Isn't visual learning physical as well? Yeah, you could say kinesthetic, someone that needs to move, but where does movement start and where does it end? And what do you have to move? How much of your body, of your being do you have to move? What does it mean, social? When does social start and solitary end? So, smell, exactly, very good. Yeah. So this is impossible for anyone on this planet, and I promise you, it's impossible for anyone, no matter how professional or scientific, to define what learner type you are. By the way, if you think you are a visual learner type, I can congratulate you, because 99% of people, not sure how many people are blind, are visual learners, because we see. So therefore, there is always visual input. You can close your eyes and listen, but auditory, what does that mean? How do you measure that? It's impossible. So if anyone told you that these learner types are in any way helpful, that you have to watch movies, you have to listen to this, and then you learn better because that's your type, it's a scam, it's wrong. That doesn't mean that you do not learn by listening or by reading or by moving or in a social context or solitary. All these things are, of course, true, but at the same time, and that makes it impossible to distinguish and to prepare learning material that simply focuses on one or two of them. So the best learning material combines as many factors as possible depending on what you want to learn. At times, it might make sense to focus on one thing. That means if you want to practice listening, then of course you basically stick to listening, but maybe reading while listening along is a pre-exercise to that. So you have to really design your learning material in a way that fits the task at hand, not the learner itself, because you cannot know the learner to that extent. It's impossible. And olfactory, there might be people that learn by smelling.